The show's going to start in 7.5 minutes. If you're watching this on replay, you can just scrub the playhead forward until that counter at the top of the screen is down to 0, and I'll see you then. Okay, here we go. The live stream is all checked out, and we are on and live. So here I'm going to bring Ken in and unmute him right there. And there you go. Hello, Ken.
Hey, Doug.
Now, let's see. I've been messing around with some settings here. I'm going to test a little thing here, see if I've got this thing. Now it goes blank for a moment, and no, that one's not working. Huh. Oh, well, that gets rid of the bars at the bottom. Okay, so, but if I do this piece, you guys are seeing a little bit of the behind the scenes here. We're going to go to Ken's recent emails here and see what we're doing today. I'm going to see if I can do this piece. Yeah, this is going to need more development. And I don't think you're even seeing what I'm doing right now, right?
I know I'm not.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Well, I'm probably going to get some hits for, why are you doing that live? Well, the reason why I'm doing it live is because I can't do it beforehand unless I'm not streaming at the time that you're connected. Yeah, we didn't have that today. So I'm just making the Zoom show up a little bit better. Anyway, here we go. And, let's see. So Darren says, thanks, do not see you live from UK time zones. Okay, well, I don't think that's telling us something's wrong with the stream. Is video and audio okay in the chat? Can you let me know? And I see hi from, let's see, there's Blues Rider, Darren Gilholm, Tony Wallow, Dan the Man, G.W. Ison.
Is our bus rider with us today, though?
Is there a bus rider? Blues rider.
Bus rider with us today, though. I think her name's Viv. Is there a bus rider?
I haven't seen Viv yet. Oh, that's right. She was telling us about being on the bus.
Yeah, I had a chuckle. I was watching another one of your videos, and she said, "I'm on the bus again."
Yes. I saw one of those in. I think she made that in a comment too. Anywho, let's get going. So along the lines of me getting better at doing this blurring stuff, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go in a moment over to your email. And everyone knows that you said it's okay to show your email, but again, I'm practicing.
Nope.
So get over it. Let's see, that's yours. And then if I go down to this one and unhide that, and then come down here. All right, so I'm going to switch over to your email and get people caught up with what we've been talking about doing. Then I'll click over this guy, do that, and then punch to that screen. Huh, that did a little weird thing. There. Okay, so we've got, and I've got your email on the screen, and you're not watching the video right now, so you're not seeing this, but let's see, my message to you, I've had more messages from viewers saying the correct key on your motherboard is F8 for selecting the boot device. Do you want to let them know how that turned out, please?
F8 works just fine. I actually used it this afternoon because I wanted to make sure what I thought was wrong with my Facebook account was with Facebook and maybe not the drive itself. So I restarted F8, went into the old hard disk drive, fired right up, went into Facebook, worked just fine. So that kind of confirmed to me that it might be with the SSD drive, which the reality turned out to be it was. By clearing the history and the cache, it fixed the problem. So yeah, F8 is perfect. Thank you.
And did you have to make an adjustment in BIOS to get it to let you press that key during the boot up? I had
No,
told you.
I
Okay, you
didn't.
didn't have
No,
to do that
did not.
piece.
No, I kind
Okay.
of Terry's advice, and if you don't need to go into BIOS, don't go into BIOS. So
Yeah,
since that's
sure.
working, we're good.
Sure. Okay. I'm going to make another click here and see. Yeah, that fixed that on the Zoom thumbnail. All right. Then, continuing. I've had an idea about deleting Windows from your hard disk drive. We could create another partition on your hard disk drive, call it P for now. Use the location command for pictures to move them from the F to the new partition P. And anything else you want from F, then delete the F partition. Then increase the size of the P partition to use the entire hard disk drive. That way all the clutter from old Windows is gone. Once completed, we can reassign the drive letter P to whatever you prefer. We can also set up scheduled image backup using Macrium Reflect to back up the C drive to your external and back up your P to your external. Now that may or may not be the way that we go, because we have more conversation about this. But you had indicated before that you wanted to get rid of the Windows stuff that was on that hard disk drive that you used to be booting your computer from, which makes a lot of sense. And we were talking about piecemeal deleting things there. I'd like better to get a clean format on that drive. But then since then, you've pointed out something else. And let me go pull that one up. Let's see, it is this email. Oh, looks like your email address doesn't even show on there. Okay, so then you say, good morning, Doug. Looking forward to this evening's session on this pesky F drive thing. I was thinking yesterday while driving if we could just double check the backup that you did to ensure everything is there, then just reformat the old F drive, then just add back the pictures to it. Also, I was trying to remember how to use the entire 3 terabytes that it is and could not right now. It's using around 2 terabytes due to, I think, how it was formatted, partitioned way back then. So the 2 to 3 terabyte question has to do with your hard disk drive, not the external drive, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm suspecting that it's formatted with MBR, and I think that's what's limiting you to the 2 terabytes. Whereas if we transition it to GPT, we get the 3 terabytes. And I think it was Viv that had sent through some information or a link to a technique for converting to GPT partition without reformatting. That means we wouldn't have to move those pictures back and forth. So basically with anything with computers, we have like 6 different ways to accomplish any task. Which one are we going to use?
True. Why can't it just be simple?
Yeah. If it was just one way they give us, then fine. Oh, Viv is here. She just showed up. Hello, Viv. Glad to see you. And I think it's really, let's see, what is it now? That's a little bit early for her. I think we're still breakfast time, maybe in her very early breakfast. What time is it there, Viv? And Greg Guy has also said hello, and Ned. Oh, let's see. Ed, I'm going to get this right. Let me think about that a minute. Nup now. Yeah, Nup now. Because he sent me information about how to pronounce his last name right. Because I like to pronounce things right. So Nup now. And I think of as, you know, to teenagers, what's up? What's up? What's up, man? What's up? So Nup, what's up? Nup, now. What's up now? Nup now. That's how I get to your name, Ed. All right, that's my OCD about pronouncing names. Get over it. And then Blackwatch says hello. Hello, Blackwatch. I think I caught everybody's name once there. Viv, am I remembering right? Did you send a link through to me about converting from MBR to GPT? Or maybe that was Catherine. Let's see. I've got us on Zoom right now. Let's go. Oh, I did a reload of something, so I've got things showing up different on my screen than it used to. It's not there. I want my technical notes in OneNote. They're all out of order now, and this OneNote doesn't do sorting. Oh, there it is. Good. And then I think it was here. And then if I search MBR, update checklist, update count.
Maybe put that further up there. So,
Is this it? Hello, Sir Watching Channel. Yes, from Viv. Updated for 64-bit legacy mode. Nope, that was a separate issue. Well, let's look at that. Okay, we need to get to your hard drive and have a look at it. You've got that USB backup drive attached now, do you?
yes, yes, it is.
All right. Coming back to your computer and make this full screen and move our pictures down a little bit. And Windows key and the letter E to open Windows File Explorer. And here is big drive 2. Is that the backup drive?
No, that's my picture drive.
Oh, that's that I drive.
I think it's K.
K, J.
Hey.
I'm not seeing a K.
Let me.
Go ahead. You got the mouse.
Yeah, there's. It's J drive.
J. All right. So this is the backup drive that we used Handy Backup to copy your files over. And we want to know that we got everything. So if I do Control A to select all of those and then right click in Properties, going to tell us the size of all of those. However, that's everything that's on the J drive. So let's go this way. It's quicker. Pardon?
It's HDDB if you're looking for it. Fourth one from the top.
The fourth one. Oh, it was just oh, that's right. That because we used that name to shorten the path.
Right.
Yeah. So here's backup F drive to G drive. Properties on that. And that's going to take a little while for it to calculate how much that is. Then I'm going to do Windows key E to open another browser window. Then I'm going to do Windows key right arrow key to move that window to the right half of the screen, then let go of the Windows key, and it's going to should show me thumbnails of all the rest of the open windows. And it didn't, so I'm just going to click on that window and use Windows key left arrow. That technique is a little flaky. And then we've got that properties page right here, so I'll click to bring that to the top. That has finished, showing us 189 gigabytes. And that was copying your F drive. And we did pretty much the whole F drive, didn't we?
I think so. You went through and unchecked a couple of things.
We unchecked some of them.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get a rough idea that we've got somewhere in a believable vicinity. So we have 189 gigabytes on the backup, and the original F drive at 312 gigabytes. So that's quite believable. And then if we drill down into these folders, and this is the type of backup we did with Handy Backup, is it gave us a native file backup. And let's see, so then here in users, and we go to your profile name, and down here in pictures, is it okay to go into the pictures folder, or should I take it off screen?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
All right. So here's a bunch of pictures and folder names. Does this all look believable to you?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Then there's, let's see, media files, MP4. If I go drill down even further, we see some actual picture files, and then double click and see that, oops, that's a video. Didn't I see? That's supposed to be a picture.
Yeah, I believe that is a picture actually, but I don't know. It said play, so.
Yeah, it had a play button. Windows Media Player. Looks like it's just. Oh, you remember when I did some? I was messing around with default program to open for files. So yeah, that shows JPG. So that's why it's going into Media Player. So if I right click and reset that back, I can go to Open With and choose another app and change it back to Photos, tell it to always use that. And so then it'll just open into Photos. Okay. All right. So yeah, it looks like your backup files are there. Okay.
Good.
So then let's go look and see how that drive is formatted. So it's the hard disk drive that is showing 2 terabytes instead of 3 terabytes. That's the one we're going after. And that is the
F drive.
F drive.
Yep.
Okay, so right click Properties, showing there 2 terabytes. And then let's go into, I'll right click on the Windows button and go to Disk Management. I'm going to take a look at chat. I see my name in orange a few places, so I'll catch up. Blackwatch is saying hi, and how are we doing? Viv, it was by email. Yeah, Viv, I believe that I copied it to my OneNote. That's why I was looking for it there, but I'd probably do better to go look for it in your email. And you're telling me it was email on April 27th. Great. That'll be an easy way for me to find it. Thank you. Then we're at 317 in chat. Okay, so here, and you're in disk management showing your disk 1 here as a nearly 3 terabyte and showing this 746 gigabytes unallocated. And let's see, I think it's if we right click, if convert to GPT is grayed out, then that indicates this is an MBR and unable to recognize more than 2 terabytes in a single partition. And if I think I'm saying that right, if you want to challenge me in chat, go ahead. But I think I'm saying that right, and I have not looked that up recently. Okay, so with the information that Viv sent to me in email, and I have seen this before, and I think I actually used it quite some time ago or something like it. We can convert that disk to GPT, it would still have, I believe, these current partitions, but then we can alter the partitions. So the way we would do it is we'd probably have to, and that's not even going to let us delete that partition there. I would think that we would have to make this these two unallocated so that we can then extend this partition. Now, you suggested in the latest email, why not just reformat this thing to get the 3 terabytes and then copy the files back? And
Right.
that would be the smart way to go. More straightforward, and we know that we're clean for doing that. I mean, even if we go through the trouble of converting this to GPT, then we still, what are we going to do? We're going to reformat it probably and copy the pictures back. I was contemplating moving the pictures from the F drive to another partition on this drive. And at that point, I didn't have it on my mind about needing to convert to GPT. So I think that's just too many hoops to jump through. It'd be interesting to see all of those technologies, but I think it's just too many hoops to jump through. So yes, Viv, I'm going to go ahead and pull up that email because I would think we should have that on our minds. And I do think your comment is right in the chat, Viv, that it's simple to do. So I'm going to switch cameras here and go maneuver to that. There. And then I'm going to search. I just type VIV to find Viv's email address and then look for the email on April 27th. There it is. And please listen to the lyrics. Well, I don't think that's the right one. This is some kind of a musical group. Let me go look again for that. Oh, there's several that you sent me on April 27th. So look a little closer. Here it is. Is it better? Oh, change legacy UEFI. Change legacy to UEFI. Cryptographic. Hilltop Aussies. I think it's this one. This is the first one on April 27th. Looking. No, I don't think that's it. Look for the second one. Okay, let's see if it's this one. Hi Doug, thank you for your time and notice. Future Australia, Greg's computer. Oh, wait a minute. Now she's saying April 26th. Let's take another shot at that. This is dealing with BIOS, UEFI legacy mode, referring to Greg's problem, how to change legacy UEFI without reinstalling Windows. I don't think this is the one you're trying to point me to. Viv, if you have that email in front of you, just go ahead and send it through again. That'll be easier. Can you do that? That's got to be it. It's just kind of long for me to figure out if that's it. I'm not seeing a link in there. She's talking about Greg's computer, media creation tool, MBR. When you change BIOS, you can boot. Talking about Rufus. Trying to image, inadvertently change. No, I don't think that's it. Link at top. Maybe if it's a link that she's pointing me to, that's why I'm not seeing it, because I was expecting. Oh, here's convert Windows Club. Convert MBR to GPT disk. Yeah. In fact, I even think I searched my notes and found it from years ago. So I'm going to go to this. I don't think we have any copyright issues with displaying somebody else's web page.
This video is a follow-up to a video I did.
Okay, MBR to GPT tool. What is this? That's not the actual website. And that's not link at top.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, that was too long spending trying to find that. Viv, when you send that, if you can send that through again and give me a note in chat that you've done that, that'll be easier for me to find the right one. All right, so we're looking at your hard disk drive here. This is your SSD that you're currently booting from. And we also have your external connected there.
Yep, there's two externals connected. Actually, my docking station is one, which is J drive, and then my other one is that one there. That's what I put the majority of my pictures on. I really shouldn't leave it plugged in all the time, but I do.
Okay, there we can see them all together. All right, your SSD, your hard disk drive that's got the space that's not in, you're not able to use. That's a 2 terabyte there, and that's what, a six terabyte?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a hard drive junkie.
My son gives them to me, so I can't turn them down.
Wow.
I got an 8 terabyte I'm playing around with too, but it's kind of got some geeky moments.
Oh, wow. All right. So if we were to just go here and wipe this all out and recreate the partition on it as GPT, then we would go that route. But I am really interested in demonstrating that method of converting, because that can be really of interest to people who are stuck with a MBR partition and they want to get it changed to GPT.
It's most things nowadays GPT.
Not necessarily. If you're not over 2 terabytes, you don't have to do it, and I'm not aware that it is even improvement in performance. My recollection on reading up on it is that's a fairly accurate statement. So yeah. Then looking back at chat to see what I've missed. Yeah, this was all Viv. Read the email, link at top. Hi crew. She says okay and sent. Okay, so I'm gonna go find it. And then Lance, command prompt, select disk, convert GPT. I think that winds up wiping out what's on the disk, Lance, and that's what we're looking for here, is a way to do it without wiping out what's on the disk. All right.
Did clean command though, could you convert it without?
No, the clean command wipes out everything that's on the disk for sure.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I might play around with that later with the 8 terabyte. It can't hurt. It doesn't work right half the time anyway.
Right. That's the beauty of having more drives around than you need.
He calls me and says, "Hey, you want this?" I'm like, "I'm never going to
play around with it." Yeah. All right. So here we go. Windtips.org. So yeah, that's a different link than what I was looking at. So how to change legacy to UEFI without reinstalling Windows. All right, I'm doing right click. Why is that? Well, that's interesting. It's treating it as an image, not as a link. I don't even get a clickable. I can't even, that's not a link. I can't even click on that. What am I doing wrong here? I can't even highlight it. Why is this showing up almost like it's a picture? All right, how to change legacy to UEFI? Let's just go search for that. How to change legacy UEFI legacy to UEFI without reinstall. Legacy to UEFI without reinstalling Windows 10. And there it is, WinTips. So there I got a valid link. Right click and choose open a new tab. Gee, that took a lot longer than it should have.
Welcome to my world.
It's only when the camera's running, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that has something to do with it, for sure. All right. So let's see, mbr to gpt.exe command line tool, and no data loss. Instructions only applies if you've installed Windows 10 version 1703. Have you done that? No, that's anything after that would work. Okay, how to change legacy boot mode to UEFI. Now, we're not looking to change legacy boot mode here. We're just trying to reformat that drive as GPT instead of MBR. So actually, that search of changing legacy to UEFI isn't really what we're looking for now. In my mind, more to the point is changing MBR to GPT without losing what's on the disk. Now, here's what it shows. If you right-click on your main disk properties, if the convert to GPT option is grayed out, then the partition style on your disk is MBR. So that was, oh yes, and I got to remember, you're not seeing what I'm displaying.
Yeah, we're good. I'm watching it on my tablet.
Oh, you are? Good. Okay. So that was right-click over here on this button here. If convert to GPT is not available, then you are MBR. Now, the only other place that I know to look for that is in disk part from a DOS prompt. There may be some other places to see it, but they don't come to mind at the moment. So, coming back here to continue on that. Scrolling down. How to use the tool. Here's convert MBR to GPT from Windows GUI, or convert it using the recovery environment. And this is starting with method 1. So from a command prompt, run as administrator. Oh, okay. I just glanced over at chat. Let me go ahead and catch up there. 3:30 command prompt. Lance says we'll check on a new drive on my server. So I guess he's going to test what we were just talking about. And then Dan the man, the camera adds 10 minutes to everything. Of course, the normal joke there is the camera adds 10 pounds to you, but adding 10 minutes. And when I first saw that, I thought he was referring to the delay, the time that it takes them to see me. But then I realized, no, they're just talking about how long I'm taking to get to something here. Oh, he's got that right. So here's that command prompt, run as administrator. Get past the advertisements. At the command prompt, run the following command. That's the conversion. Allow full operating system. Wait until the conversion is complete. When the conversion is done, shut down your computer, power on, and enter BIOS setup. Change the boot mode from legacy to UEFI. See, this is for changing boot mode. You're booting UEFI, aren't you?
I have no clue.
Oh, no, you know what? You're not, because when you sent me photos of your BIOS screen, and at the very bottom of one of the photos, cut off, I could see the top of it showing what appeared to be a BIOS copyright date of some year through 2010. So you've got a really old BIOS.
Right. There's no update to it. I've tried to update it a million times, and there is no update.
Okay. And was that a custom-built computer?
I believe that it was, yes.
Okay, you didn't build it, apparently.
No.
All right. So yeah, that finishes doing that. Now, I would think that we can convert that MBR to GPT, even though our objective is not to change from legacy to UEFI. Now, but it's stretching my awareness. Does that old of a BIOS? Yes, of course, that old BIOS can handle GPT because you have other GPT disks on this computer already. Let's go back and see that, because here you've got a 6 terabyte. So if I right click on that, so convert to MBR is grayed out. Up here we had convert to GPT is grayed out.
Right.
So I think once you're at MBR, I'm not sure that once you're at GPT, I don't think you can convert back to MBR, or maybe you have to clean it first. And so we know that your computer can do the GPT. Boy, I'd really like to do that. I'd really like to do this conversion, because I think it'd be a great demonstration. I don't think it takes very long. And we've got we've got that backup anyway, and we don't really care about the files that are on there.
Right.
So I'm going to go back and look at this. Now this convert MBR to GPT. Let's get back to MBR to GPT. Command line tool. Latest motherboard, speed reading, UEFI supported. Can I use UEFI if you have a computer laptop? Take advantage of it without reinstalling. Yeah, so MBR to GPT. So I'm going to close some things down. And we're in a Zoom session from your computer. from the browser on your computer, but it doesn't utilize that drive, so I think we're okay. So I did Windows key and then CMD, and then right click on command prompt, run as administrator. And then I think this command is built, it is in Windows 10, so I'm going to test that just by mbr to GPT space question mark. I'm not totally certain that it was it the word to as in TO, or was it the number 2? Ah, it's the number 2. mbr to GPT. I'm going to do / question mark. Yes, so that proves that this is a command that's built into Windows. We don't have to download anything. Converts the disk from MBR to GPT partitioning without modifying or deleting data on the disk. This is showing the syntax options that we can use. So validate convert / disk : is disk number logs map allow full os. All right. Jump back over here to read very specifically what they show for the instruction. Here's the area where it tells it. Okay, so mbr GPT / exe convert allow full os. Now this isn't specifying what drive on their example, and I'd say that's because they're doing this for the purpose of changing the boot drive. We're not trying to change the boot drive.
Right.
Okay. I'm highlighting this command, Control-C, that copies it to my clipboard. Coming back to your computer, when I click in the DOS window, I can do Control-V to paste what's in my clipboard. Now I'm not going to press enter there because we're not ready for that. I'm pressing the escape key. Now I'm going to go catch up on chat because maybe somebody is clarifying the right way to do this. Gary Weisenberg, C, without any comment there, and Michael Malka is better format to GPT. Well, I agree with that. We had the brief conversation here. Should you do GPT instead of MBR? I don't think it makes a difference for performance. It makes a difference if you're over 2 terabytes. But somehow I just think it's better to do GPT, and I can't really verbalize why. Chris, partition mini tool will convert a drive very easy. And I'm probably going to be saying this from time to time. I always like it, and this is my own prejudice, I suppose. I prefer to do things within the operating system if it can be done that way. I only go use a tool when I really have to. I don't turn to tools first. I don't criticize anybody that does that. I don't mind it at all, but I just want to be more closely connected to the operating system. Intimately.
I think I hit a button to put back your command somehow.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So let's go back and look at, I'm going to press the escape key to get rid of that. And I'm going to scroll back up to look at the syntax of the command and take a cautious approach at this. So the drive letter that we're going after is the F drive.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So this tells us to use / disk for a disk number. It's not showing in here anywhere a drive letter. Validate convert Now validates that the selected disk can be converted without performing the actual conversion. That sounds like a good intermediate step.
Yep.
And so we can do /validate to do that, or we could do /convert, which validates that it can be converted and performs the actual conversion. So disk number specifies the disk number of the disk to be processed. If not specified, the system disk is processed. So that's why they gave it that way in the sample. Then logs, I'm not too concerned about. And map specifies the GPT partition type to be used for a given MBR partition. MBR partition type not recognized by Windows. Multiple map switches are allowed. Well, that's not of concern to us because we don't have an MBR partition that's not recognized by Windows. So perhaps that would be a Linux or Apple, maybe. Allow full OS allows the tool to be used from the full Windows environment. By default, this tool can only be used from the Windows pre-installation environment. Okay, so we have to specify this to allow it to run from a fully booted Windows operating system. Okay. Let's see. Chris Garrett says, I've converted in Windows with that tool. Just be careful with partition tools. I learned the hard way years ago. And I hope people are noticing that I appear to be approaching this cautiously. So yes, be careful. Now, still we have to deal with disk number. So if I go to disk part, and then once this launches and gives us a prompt, waiting, still waiting. We don't have the prompt for disk part yet. There it is. Then list space disk. Oops, only one space, please. So here we can tell by the sizes that the one we're interested in is disk 1. So that's telling us the disk number is disk number 1. Now, along the lines of being cautious, disk 3 and disk 4, are those connected by USB or what?
Yes, the disk 4 is the one that's in my docking station that we did the backup to, and the disk 3 is the Western Digital something, book something.
Okay, so yes or no, would it be a cautious approach to disconnect those drives before we do this?
Sure, I would. Yeah.
All right.
Easy.
So let's go ahead and eject them from here. This one, the J drive, that's one of the ones we want to eject, correct?
Right.
And also the I drive.
Right above it. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so I did a click on that one. Device is currently in use. Where is that device in use?
Good question. Because I thought we shut everything down.
Well, I definitely see times when the computer thinks something is using it. We could go to Task Manager and look for something there that might be using it, but often I wind up finding nothing that's using it, and just go ahead and shut it off. Now, there is also a utility that somebody in chat provided for disconnecting USB devices that won't let go, or that think they're being in use by something. So Edge task command. Oh, well, you know what? It's in use by disk part. Disk part is looking at those right now.
Okay.
I'm not certain, but we got that displayed right now.
Yeah,
so let me exit from there and let's see if I'm going to even exit from the DOS prompt. See if they'll eject then. All right, so there's that J drive. No, I still think it's in use. Okay, but we know there's no files that are in use that haven't been written to those drives. And we could use one of those disconnect utilities, but I'm inclined to move this forward and just go ahead and... Do those have their own power switches, or do you just unplug them?
I'll pull the hard drive out of the docking station, and I'll unplug it, and I'll just unplug the other one.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Be right back.
All right. JW Ison says test. Not sure what you're referring to there. Viv to Blackwatch. Just responding to something else, I guess. And Viv 0C. Yes, disk 0 is the C drive. Rick Hubbard. Hi, Rick. Good to see you. Says good evening. And Viv says that Windows is using it. Okay, very good. So coming back over here and see that those drives are gone. Then we'll get Windows key, CMD, right click, run as administrator, yes. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and look at disk part again. There we go. List disk. There we go. 2 disks. Disk 1 is the one that we want to do. And MBR to GPT /? Scrolling back up, reviewing syntax again. So we're going to do a /validate. We're going to do a /disk:1 and /allow full os. Huh. I wonder if I can do this. Epitome of laziness, if this works.
Yep.
Yeah, I can. So get rid of the square bracket. Now, oh, you're kidding me. I'm holding down the shift key and using left arrow key to select what I want to delete. We don't need any map. Now, what about control left arrow? Oh, it moves one word at a time. Oh, awesome. I just learned something new. Let's see then. Map source destination. No, we don't need that. So shift control left arrow. We don't need that. Wait a minute. Did that not go away?
No.
It didn't. Oh, all right. Well, I'm reverting to the backspace key. How Neanderthal this is. Would have been quicker to just type it. Okay, so we want disk 1 right there. Get rid of this bracket. Get rid of convert. We're going to keep /validate. So I think that's our command right there, except we don't need exe. Yeah, it would have been quicker to just type it. MBR to GPT /validate /disk1 /allow full os. think we got it. I don't see any other comments in chat, so I'm going to say that that means they're not yelling at me that I'm missing something. Here we go with the enter key. Attempting to validate disk 1, retrieving layout of disk.
Interesting.
So I think it's going to go through several lines of things that it's doing, showing us its progress. Validating layout, disk sector size is 512 bytes. Validation completed successfully. So that's telling us, yes, we can do this.
Good.
All right. So up arrow key repeats the last command that we did. And we just need to change the word validate
to convert.
To convert. See, I was going to scroll back up to see what that word was, but you know it. All right, and here we go with the enter. Attempting to convert disk 1, retrieving layout of disk. Validating. Trying to shrink the OS partition. I don't like them using that word. Do you follow?
Trying to shrink it?
Trying to shrink the operating system partition. We're not really wanting to do this on the operating system partition, which is your C drive.
Right.
We're doing this on disk 1.
Would that drive not have an operating system on it since it's got Windows?
Well, it does have an operating system on it, but it's not the operating system that we're booted on.
Oh, okay.
So I would, because this command is designed to be able to perform this on the drive that you're booted on. So it would need to shrink the operating system partition, I think, so that it could do its magic on the rest of the drive and then perhaps move the operating system to that freshly fixed area of the drive and then fix the area that the operating system was installed on. And this command is designed to default to the drive that you're booted on. Now, what we didn't, I don't recall that we looked to see that your C drive is MBR or GPT currently. Do you recall us looking at that?
It's a solid state drive, but no, I don't remember if we did that or not.
Well, here, this shows it here. I just scrolled back up to list disk, and there is no X in the column for GPT.
Uh-huh.
So that means your boot drive is an MBR. So worst case scenario, we just converted your C drive to a GPT disk. I don't
Even though
think,
we select disk 1?
well, I don't think that's what happened, but that would be the worst case scenario, which isn't going to be a problem. It would just be not what we were intending. So, and the only reason why I was at all uneasy about that is because it's referring to this trying to shrink the OS partition.
Right.
I'm suspecting that line is there just because that's what this command is really designed and intended to be doing. So let's look at the, pardon?
I want to take a picture of this. Do we need to be concerned with before the new system can boot properly, you need to switch the firmware to boot to UEFI mode?
That's a potential. Because once you convert to GPT, if your BIOS is configured to boot only legacy mode, then it won't boot. When you did your F8 key during the reboot, did you see a section on that boot menu for legacy and another section for UEFI boot mode?
Let me look at the picture because I don't remember,
Oh,
but I've got
all right.
a picture of it.
Yeah, great. Because if it can do either or, then it would have both of those listed. All right, so I'm looking back at chat while you're looking that up. Oh,
where's the doggone picture at?
GW Ison, I guess you tried. Oh, GW Ison, if you're trying to put a URL in the chat, you have to be a moderator for that. And if you're wanting to put in helpful URLs, I'll make you a moderator for that. I just want to make it clear that I do not want moderators to be blocking people or timing them out and all of that kind of stuff. I want to handle trolls myself. And then GW, in the end, it should end up with 3 portions. First part, 260 megabyte FAT32. Second part, the rest third partition, 1 gigabyte recovery. And then GW, MBR to GPT will only work on the C drive or boot drive. MBR to GPT cannot do any other drives. Well, if that's the case, why did it allow us to specify a different disk?
I'm going to say the answer to your question is no. I've got hard disk drive, Samsung solid state, then hard disk drive, the actual hard disk drive, then CD-ROM, then USB MyBook, then USB virtual CD, which doesn't exist, and then USB WD SES devices. There's nothing on there that suggests anything between legacy and UEFI.
Yeah, and did you explore around through your BIOS setup menu options?
No, for the most part, I didn't. No.
Okay, because I think there was an advanced section, and I think that's probably where you would find changing to from legacy mode to UEFI. But yeah, I'm not totally convinced you're going to find that there. I think that a legacy BIOS can have disks partitioned with the GPT format style, meaning I don't think that GPT is exclusive to UEFI. I think if your boot drive is GPT, then your BIOS has to be able to boot using UEFI. My tongue's going to get twisted with these acronyms. This is all such. There are so many variables in all of that. So let's see. Did you get the picture you were wanting to take of that?
Right. You were asking about if it asked for.
Oh no, you were. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
you were looking.
I've got the picture of the before the new system can boot properly. You need to switch. Yeah, I'm good on that.
Yeah, you need to switch to the firmware to boot to UEFI.
Yep, I've got that picture.
All right, so I'm going to take a look at something before we try restarting your computer, because now we're a little concerned. Disk management, and maximize that window.
Oh.
And right click over here. Now see, this says convert to MBR disk. So that has switched. We have converted this disk to GPT.
Which was our intent.
That was our intent. We don't even have to reboot. We've already made that switch. We don't need to reboot the computer to complete the change because this is not your boot drive.
Right,
and
that is.
I'm deducing there.
That's that's MBR. So
yeah, this one's MBR, and I think it's going to stay MBR.
Right.
And with the action that we just took, we are absolutely certain before we took that action, this option right here that was grayed out said convert to GPT disk.
Yes, it did.
It now says convert to MBR disk.
Yep.
So we were successful there, and I think GW, I think we just proved your comment not correct. Now, GW is not a criticism. I'm going to be called out for being incorrect many times on this channel. So Wintermute, it will work on an offline system disk. Okay. Wintermute, IE disk 1 here. Yeah, you lost me on that, on your sentence there. Viv says this is the same as last Ken has cloned MBR to new SSD. This is the same as last Ken has cloned MBR to new SSD. Let's see. You you and I haven't done any cloning.
No, we did.
No.
We did a backup.
Yeah, your SSD here was originally set up long ago. You put it in the computer, did a bunch of updates.
Yep.
We did a handy backup, native file system backup from your hard disk drive.
Right.
So now let's go take a look at what we can do with this. We don't care about these partitions out here. What is it going to let me do with those? That's all grayed out. Nothing to let me do with that. Nothing there. That's letting us extend, shrink or extend. Oh, this has extend. Really? Selected disk. That's saying 764 gigabytes. That looks like this. Select disk. You can use space on one or more disks to extend the volume. So this showing what's available. It says selected, but I had this one. Oh, total volume size in megabytes. So here, 2.8 gigabytes. So that's showing the entire disk for the total disk size, but that says volume size. Volumes, I would think, would be the partitions. Maximum available in megabytes. Looks like this is going to add that space to this. All right, next. Finish. The operation you selected will convert the selected basic disk to dynamic disk. If you convert the disk to dynamic, you will not be able to start installed operating systems from any volume on the disk except the current boot volume. Are you sure you want to continue? So before we do that, I'm going to go point out some things. Over here, we have this option for converting to dynamic disk. So dynamic disk, if I'm recalling correctly, lets us do more variety of things with partitions, but you're never going to be able to boot from that disk. And one of the things it's going to let us do, I think the dynamic disk is going to let us join these two non-contiguous areas into one volume. I think that's what's going on here, because normally when I have extended a partition, I've always had to have the adjacent areas as unallocated. These two areas are not unallocated. They're tiny. They don't look tiny by the space of this graphic, but the numbers are tiny. This graphic is not proportional. Okay. I think there's a couple interesting things in chat. Is it the same as last? Okay, so Viv says I cannot remember the guy in April you did 5 sessions with, which led to my original email. I think that was Greg. Could you right click on disk 1? GW's asking. And Wintermute, MBR to GPT only works on Windows System Disk, not Data Disk. Ken has 2 system disks. He's booted to disk 0. You converted disk 1. Disk 1 is an offline system disk. Okay, that sounds like a reasonable explanation. And it sounds like Wintermute's more knowledgeable on the MBR to GPT than I am. Lance says dynamic disk are RAID configs. Okay, so this an apple is a fruit. Is a fruit necessarily an apple? No. So apply that logic to this question. RAID configurations, I believe, are always dynamic disks. Does a dynamic disk have to be a RAID configuration? And I have not been active in that area. I do not know that, but that would be my question to Lance. If dynamic disks are used in RAID, but if a disk is dynamic, does that mean it is only used in a RAID configuration? Wintermute says, I don't think you want a dynamic disk. Give us a reason, please. Lance can only extend the last partition of the disk. Can only extend the last. Well, that sounds like he's... Yeah, well, that's been my experience, is the last partition, and then whatever's to the right of it needs to be unallocated. So that is not a partition when it's unallocated. And that's been my experience, but it looked like it was going to let me do that. Or maybe that's why it was forcing to go to dynamic disk. Because I don't recall that I've always had to go to dynamic disk when extending a partition. But then I'm not sure that I've ever extended past 2 gigabytes for a partition. Viv says, thank you to Wintermute. Viv, why not boot from disk 1? Why should we? Why would we want to do that? This computer was booting from disk 1, a hard disk drive. And up until, weeks ago that you put in the SSD and decided you want to move forward with that?
About a week ago, yeah.
Yeah, prior to that, the disk 1, 3 terabyte was your operating system disk.
Right.
And GW asks, could you right-click on disk 1 and click on properties? Okay. Disk 1, right-click, and properties. I'm going to move this over here a bit. So, showing device working properly, policies, quick removal, better performance. Okay, but you must use safely remove. Okay, well, we're not going to be doing that with this drive. Enable write caching, turn off write cache buffer. And volumes, disk 1 online GPT. So this verifies that we did convert it to GPT. Then driver and details and events. So I'm seeing the chat moving along, and perhaps GW's telling us what we're looking for now. Gary asks for details. Viv, if it works, it has GPT, and Will can do UEFI. Gary asks details again. Gary, GLOD, it is GPT. Gary, good, it is GPT. So, yeah, it looks like we did the conversion. I'm kind of interested in maybe before going to the next step, you reboot the computer and be sure that is still bootable and that we didn't really damage something. I seriously don't think we did, because we told it to do this on disk 1. This clearly changed. That was a definite clear change. And the disk 0 is still showing that it's MBR. Of course, we could convert disk 0 to GPT. I don't feel much desire to do that yet, because I think we've already done enough. Let's see it work for a while.
Right.
And that goes to caution.
Big test, reboot it and see if it boots back to the solid state drive, and then we're good to go.
Yeah. So then let me look at some other thing. Oh, Gary says, good, it is GPT. And yes, Gary, and to get over 2 terabytes, you need GPT. Yes, so that's the whole reason why we were interested in going GPT, to go over 2 terabytes. I don't think that this is necessarily a RAID. Viv, so boot from 1 and will prove computer UEFI. Oh, okay, so I'd asked Viv, why should we boot from disk 1? And the answer is that it would prove that your computer is capable of booting UEFI. That's not bad. You clearly know how to swap around the cables on your disk drives. So if you were to do that, you would shut down the computer. We'd be off of Zoom, obviously, unless you have a smartphone that you can come into Zoom with.
Got a smartphone. I don't know how to get into Zoom though.
No, I can talk you through that. That's no biggie.
Yeah, just switch the cables back the way they used to be and leave the SSD completely unhooked. And if it
yeah,
boots,
because if you want to really make this a good video, you'll actually show us your cables inside the computer and where you're connecting them through Zoom. Okay.
I can do that. Sure.
Cool. I think that'd be great to see that. So then, completely disconnect the SSD so that it's clear that you're booting on the spinning hard disk drive.
Right.
And if it boots up, then that tells us that UEFI is your BIOS is capable of UEFI. Good idea, Viv. So boot from 1 is disk 0 GPT. No, it is not. It's MBR. And the way we know that, Gary, is right click up here, and it says right here, convert to GPT. It's not going to say that unless the disk is currently MBR. Also, when we were in disk part, it showed no check mark or asterisk or X, whatever it shows in the GPT column. So we know that drive 0, the SSD, is MBR. Gary says, where is the boot partition? It is partition C on disk 0. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm caught up with chat. Make a note of the timestamp on chat so I don't go back and read stuff over again. So let's get you into Zoom using your cell phone.
All right.
What is it? Is it an iPhone?
iPhone, right?
All right. So just push the button to talk to Siri and say open Zoom.
Hey Siri, open Zoom.
I don't see an app called Zoom. You could try searching the App Store.
Yes.
Apparently, I don't have the app on there.
No, go ahead and do that. That's what I intended. I knew that if you didn't have it, it would.
I've got Zoom Cloud Meetings, Zoom for Intune, Google Duo, Google Meet, Zoom Business. That's probably not it. That's orange. Messenger, WhatsApp, Skype, Zoom for BlackBerry, I believe that one is. Zoom
What was the first one?
The very first one is Zoom Cloud Meetings, and then it says Meet Happy, and that's all it says. Let me see if I can get that on the camera, which is never easily done.
Let's
see here. Trying to get it to focus.
Yeah, Zoom Cloud Meetings. I think that's it. That icon looks right.
All right.
Are the others
Oh,
different icons?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I think that's it. Zoom for Cloud Meetings, because that's exactly the icon that I have on my phone.
So now if I go, hey Siri, open Zoom, it'll open it.
Let's take a look at the accessibility settings.
Oh, okay, well, let's look at the X. Okay, so Zoom and the accessibility is off. I'm guessing that has to be on.
Okay, so when you touch that item in the store, it should have had a install or open button or launch button.
It had an open button. Yeah, it
Yeah,
automatically.
okay. Okay, fine.
So I'll go ahead. I'm in accessibility. I'll go to Zoom and turn it on.
All right.
And then, oh my gosh, that kind of makes the screen blind.
So my laugh a moment ago was from Chris's comment in chat. So I'm gonna try that now, Chris. Hey Siri, will you marry me?
I'd rather DJ the wedding.
Oh wait, let's okay. Let me have you not laugh this time. Let me have you not laugh this time. I'm going to ask her again because that was a good response. Will you marry me? Now she's one sec. The first time she responded, I'd rather DJ the wedding. Still on it.
I'd rather DJ the wedding.
There it is. I don't know if that came through. That didn't work very well. Yeah, then Lance, dynamic disks don't use a FAT, file allocation table, and all partitions are extendable. That makes sense. While basic disk, only the last partition is extendable. That makes complete sense. And that seems consistent with what we saw in disk management, where in order to extend that, it was requiring that we change to dynamic disk. That does make sense. Okay.
I've got a join a meeting prompt on my phone.
Okay, so it should be asking you for a meeting ID or a place to put that in.
Right.
Okay. Are you ready for the ID? This is not a secret.
Yeah, shoot.
559 500 3498.
559 500 3498.
Yeah.
Click join.
Yeah.
Same passcode.
Oh yes, I already gave you that passcode. Same passcode, which is also not really a secret. I was about to read it.
Zoom would like access to your camera. Okay.
Yeah.
There I am. Change the virtual background. I think people want to see my red, white, and blue, yellow fan. So now can I spin this camera around so that you will be able to see the...
Yes.
Okay. Let me figure out how to do that. Join with video. Join without video.
Do with video.
I'd like to send you notification. Sure. Yeah, I can change that later. That's interesting.
Okay.
Because the other one's running, it's going to have feedback.
I got it. So I've muted your microphone and your speaker on your computer.
Right.
So now you should have audio just on your phone.
Right.
Okay. So, and I've got Zoom on YouTube right now, so that's what they're all seeing. And then, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the meeting from your computer. So then it's just going to be the two of us on your phone and my camera. Can you turn your phone sideways?
And
Yeah, that just fits the screen better. Okay, so here I'm leaving the meeting from your computer. All right, and then I think we're ready to shut down your computer and have you change your cables.
How do I switch from the front camera or from this camera to the back camera?
Oh, yes. If you touch the screen, some icon buttons should show up on the screen. And there should be a camera, a little like, there you go. Boom.
Yep.
Boom, chakalaka.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and shut me down.
All right. Here we go, shutting down. And let's see, shut down.
Still got fans spinning. Okay, fans just shut off. I always take this one step further. I disconnect the power, hit the power button, let it dissipate everything, and then go from there. Okay, so
yeah, that's fine. I'm with you on that. While you're doing that, Chris in chat says, I asked her and she said, I can't. We would have to change my end user license agreement a lot. I think you ask Siri questions like that, you'll get different answers each time, or maybe a series of answers. Gosh, look how neat you are on your desk surface.
It's cluttered right now.
Everything's laid out nice and neat.
It used to be on that wall, and we had the window glare from there, so I literally flipped the room so I can look out the window and I get the natural light, which is working really good. Okay.
Yeah, the lighting on you was much better this time. That's what you did. You rearranged your room for us.
All I did was I flipped the computer from there.
All right.
And then I put my plants over there, which I'm going to have to buy a plant light now, but that's cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's done. That's done. Oh, I forgot I put that back on. So, okay, bear with me here.
Yeah.
I put this panel back on. I forgot I'd done that.
All right.
Okay, so, all right. I didn't do the wire management. I can't get motivated enough to fix it. For the most part, it's all right. So, as everyone knows, if you can see my finger here, this is the hard disk drive.
Okay.
And then the SSD doesn't fit properly. It's down here.
All right.
So I'm going to unplug this one. I'm going to just leave it outside there. And I'm going to unplug the
signal cable.
I'll tell you what I do a lot of, or what I was doing a lot of. Do you see the pins right there?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this has got to fit. And then I realized, no, it goes over here.
Yeah.
Well, I can have some sympathy for Carrie now when you're trying to hold a camera and do something.
Right.
Where's my Mitch? Okay, so it's plugged back in. So we're good. SSD's unplugged.
Yeah.
I'm going to plug back in the power. Okay. I have to set this down for 1 second.
All right.
Okay, so now we're plugged back in. We have, can't see it, but the power light is on right there. We're going to press on the power button. Fans are on. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that glare. That's fine for now. Oh, there we go. There's the old P6T motherboard that pops up, and it'll go away.
All right.
That pops up. That'll go away. That pops up again.
I think I
glare now. Wow. Interesting.
Oh, we're okay. It's not bad. But I think I saw a brief flash of something that said no drives detected.
It's done that since the day I've owned it. And I cannot figure out how. Here's how I approached that, Doug. I was like, you know what? It starts, it runs. Yeah. I'm okay with it. Go back to that old saying, why fix it if it's broken or not broken? So clearly it's the booting or trying to boot from the hard disk drive because the solid state would have booted by now.
Yeah. Oh, there's a blinking cursor in the upper left.
Yeah, I see that.
That's a telltale sign to me of a failure.
We'll give it a minute here or so.
Yeah. While we're waiting for that, I'm going to catch up on a couple chat comments. Chris, I really don't do cable management good either. I do not want my SATA and power so tight I cannot change anything. And then he also says, I want to build another system and I want a case with a optical drive bay.
I know. There's someone out there.
I'm grabbing a water real quick, so
All right.
you get to see the plant house as it is. That's my
Yeah.
white orchids.
I'm getting the nickel tour here.
Yeah, I'm rushing. That's still blinking.
Yeah, I think that's a fail. That's what because I've seen that before. I have attempted to boot incompatible drive format on a legacy system. Now, however, we still don't know if there's an option in your BIOS for switching to UEFI mode.
We can find out.
Yes, that's
So
what I'm suggesting. Just go ahead into BIOS. You can set the camera down while you're trying to get in there if you want to.
I'm getting talented here. As soon as I get brave, something will go wrong. Isn't that the way it always works?
Yeah.
I need to get me one of those handheld iPhone camera things that I've seen.
You mean something like this?
Something similar to that, yes.
Yeah. I've got several devices like this around.
Well, my extent of that is I have a tripod, and that's it.
Well,
okay,
yeah,
there we go. That's
fine.
F8.
Yeah, that's F8, but we want to get into
We don't
BIOS
want
setup.
F8. We want the setup, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw a message on the screen telling you how to do that. I think it said escape, but it showed a message. Just
For some
do
reason, trying to find that. All right, here, we can't hurt nothing doing this. Try this again. It's actually delete. I know what I need to get into settings.
It's delete. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, use the delete key
I've
then.
seen- yeah, I've got that seared in my brain.
All right. You got that Siri'd in your brain?
Oh my gosh, is it? When you're driving down the highway to deliver eggs to people and you're like, oh, if I do this and this and this, that's
Del.
okay. That's what we want.
There we go. Yeah. So let's look at those menu options across the top. Main and then AI tweaker and next.
Advanced.
Yeah, that's probably what we're going into. Go next. Power. And boot and tools, exit. So let's go to advanced. CPU configuration, chip tab on my USB configuration, PCI PNP, onboard devices, chipset. Now, are those actually selectable?
Yeah.
CPU
There's configuration CPU settings.
Yeah. No, there's nothing we're going to do in there. All right. So what's an AI tweaker? Oh, okay. Overclock. No, we don't do that. Then let's go look at that tools menu. You can press escape key or cancel. Yeah. Look at that tools menu. CPU.
This is power.
Yeah. Nothing there I'm interested in.
Boot. And tools.
Yeah.
Then over here is that.
Yeah. Oh, what now? Go back over there again. Press enter to run the utility to select and update BIOS. This utility supports FAT NTFS CD disk. Okay, so that's just what devices it can do the update from, I think. I think at the bottom of the screen it shows you the date of your BIOS, or the copyright date. So what does that say?
1985 to 2010.
Okay.
version
Yeah.
2.61.
Yeah. So when you said you've looked for updates to BIOS, what does that mean? You searched the website for your motherboard?
Right, I went to it's Asus, so I went to their website and tried to upgrade it. It said I have the current version. I mean, unless I'm doing it wrong, which is a good possibility.
Okay.
I couldn't find it.
Okay.
So
I'm not seeing any option in here. AHCI, no, that's disk stuff.
that's not it.
No, I'm not seeing any place for switching to UEFI from legacy. So I'm looking at chat to see if somebody's seeing something that I'm missing. I don't do cable management, build another system. Dan the Man looks like UEFI not enabled. Well, I don't see any place to enable it. Wintermute, Asus PC P6T does not have UEFI. It's from 2009. It's totally believable. Lance under boot. Dan Nielsen go to boot. Chris says it does support. Okay, so let's go look at the boot menu.
Boot device priority, boot settings configurations.
Let's do that. Boot settings configuration.
Quick boot
is enabled. So that's the one that I was telling you might need to change in order to get that boot option, but you found it.
Right.
Full screen logo, add on ROM display, boot numlock, wait for F1, hit del. Nothing in there for converting to UEFI. So go back to the prior screen. And there's boot device priority. Let's look at that. I'm certain that what we want is not going to be in there. But this does show CD-ROM, so that tells us why it's been trying to go to the CD-ROM. If you hit Enter key right now, you should be able to switch that to the hard drive. So up arrow to that and then Enter. So that makes that the first device. And then press down arrow key to highlight the second option in that menu. And press Enter. And disable that. Enter. And then disable the CD-ROM drive, because I assume you're never going to try to boot from CD-ROM.
No.
Okay, so it's just going to stop it from looking at for those other devices, even if your hard drive's not bootable, which it currently is not.
Okay. But
so then, pardon?
We know we plug in the solid state drive and it'll boot.
Yeah, we're going to be fine with that. So let's
Right.
escape to the prior menu. And then go to security. And enter. Okay. So this is where you could put in a supervisor password, a user password, and that just gives you extra security so that when you turn your computer on before it even tries to boot Windows, you would have to put in a password if you're using these. And that obviously is not going to be UEFI. So everybody's in agreement now. Your motherboard's not going to support UEFI this life or the next life or with series help. Okay, so let's escape from there. We do want to save settings because of the changes we made to boot. Yeah, there you go. Save configuration. Okay. And then
we know it shouldn't boot though, right?
Yeah, it's going to fail to boot. So once it fails, we know that your BIOS settings are completely saved. So then shut the computer off and change your cables around, and let's get it started back up on the SSD. Well,
yeah,
I like that we got the answer. Your computer's not going to boot UEFI.
We're back to the cursor, so.
Yeah, okay, so turn the power off.
Yeah, I've no sense waiting.
Yep, no, there's nothing else to wait for.
It's unplugged. Power button. Power lights are off. I know what that light was. Okay, I know I had that window open now. I can see what I was doing. There we go. Got to show off my picture
Yeah, sweet.
and my group.
Oh,
Mitch has Toto. I have the Beatles.
all right.
Okay, so I want this one off there. And we want to put this one back on there because that's going to be, give myself some light here. Okay, now we want to see if we can do this one-handed or not. I think I can do this. Hang on. I cannot.
Yep. All right.
So we are back. I'm going to plug her in.
So Winter Mute asks, does he need to boot to HD again? No, we don't have any need to be able to boot to that hard disk drive.
Nope, never.
Ever again.
I have lights. I have spinning fans. Loading Asus Express Gate. My blue screen goes to my black screen. No drives. That's done that since the day I owned
Detecting
it. Back to there,
drives.
and there's our logo.
I think there's some other drive controller that it's trying to
I
find drives
kind of
on.
looked for it way back when I bought it. It was from a friend of mine. He needed some money. I got this computer dirt cheap for what it is, and
Yeah.
he was happy. I was happy.
Yeah, that PCIX menu option that we didn't go into might have had an opportunity to disable a drive controller that's not in use. I see from Blackwatch I had an Asus P8H67M-LE. It was new Windows 7 support, not UEFI. So I guess the point there is it's maybe a similar generation motherboard that also did not have UEFI. So you're booted, and you just recently made a comment that the hard disk drive was taking much longer to boot than the SSD.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's the whole reason why you've gone this direction. So now I'm looking at my remote software. It's still trying or thinks that it could reconnect
Yeah, it's trying.
to
It
your
says connecting.
session. Oh, you got a message saying it's connecting?
Yeah, the box up here says.
What's the bottom of it? It says connecting. Yeah. Usually it would have already registered on my end. Are you connected to internet?
Yes, we're good to go on the internet.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's time to give up on it restoring that connection because it just doesn't take that long.
Go ahead and restart it.
Go to your browser and go to the address logmein123.com.
That ain't right. Try that again. What did I do wrong again? Twice.
Yeah,
Log.
I turned away.
Oh,
So
no, that's right. Logmein.com.
no, not logmein.com. Logmein123.com.
23.com. Right.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, that's what it says. So I'm going to click on that.
All right.
That came up
Yeah,
again.
that's right. That's what we want. Support connection is wanting your 6-digit code.
All right.
So we're expecting that. So the code is 462895. Also not a secret. It's a one-time code. Nobody can do anything with that. Blackwatch responds yes, so meaning it's a similar generation motherboard he was referring to. Gary says it does not recognize the SSD but still runs. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying there. It does recognize the SSD. And Viv says no dynamic disks for this Asus. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, because we can do dynamic disk. All right. Just not on the boot drive. Well, no, not the boot drive. Okay, so here's your computer. We're back on, and then we want to go back to your Zoom session. You know what? Since I've got your computer on screen, let's go to zoom.us and let's see, where was I? Join a meeting and 559-500-3498. If that looks like a phone number, it is. It's a phone number that I purchased from Skype and have never used.
Really?
And I'm still paying for. I'm kind of silly that way. If I set up subscriptions I don't wind up using and I still keep paying them. Okay, then open file up here. We don't want to launch a meeting. That can mislead a person to thinking they need to click on that when they actually need to click on this downloaded file.
Got past 80% this time. That's good.
Did it get stuck at 80% before?
When I was trying to do it before, it constantly 80% and quit.
Oh. Okay. And then your name and meeting passcode. Okay.
Oh, it recognized the computer. Okay. Neat.
Oh, because you put that name in before, so it remembered that?
No, that's the name of this computer.
Oh, it's using the computer name. I see.
Right, so
look,
we have a picture of me on a picture.
Yeah. So
I can close the phone.
Almost. As soon as you hear the feedback, then close the phone.
Well, you muted me, so I need to unmute it.
Oh, we're both clicking on it. All right. Then you got your phone muted. You can end your connection with the phone. I can minimize this and bring...
Arms were getting tired.
Yeah, I'll bet. All right. Okay, so we know...
We closed that? Yeah.
Yeah, we can close this. So we know we got... I'm going to come back to the Windows button, right-click, and go to Disk Management. We know we got the disk that we wanted to convert actually converted. And so next we're interested in expanding this. Now when we tried to extend before, it got us to a point where it's going to convert it to dynamic disk. As an alternative, I think we could delete this volume and get all of this space back to a state of unallocated and create the entire space as a one volume MBR disk, and I don't think it would be dynamic. Do we care about converting this to dynamic or not?
Kind of Greek to me, so I'll have to go off what you recommend.
Yeah. The only reason why that would be advantageous is because then we don't have to go through the restore operation of bringing your stuff back from backup. However, This F drive right now has that all your old Windows files and your profile entries. So we were talking about reformatting it and restoring it anyway.
Right.
And that backup operation took overnight, didn't you say?
It stopped at quarter after midnight that night.
Quarter after midnight. So several hours, which, I mean, it's okay to let a computer run. That's no biggie. But that did a backup including the Windows folder and the user folder.
Right.
We wouldn't restore all that. We just
Right.
want
No,
to
right.
copy over the data that you care about.
Right. Which is basically the pictures and some of my biggest pro stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And because that would still be on your backup drive, if you discover weeks down the road or months down the road that we missed something, you can still have it on the backup drive to go grab it if you want to.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Works for me.
So my inclination is just go ahead and wipe out this entire disk 1 and format it as just one big partition.
I agree.
All right.
Let's wave our magic wand.
All right. Before we pursue that, I'm going to look back at chat and see if we got any other comments that we should. What do you got there?
My magic wand.
Magic wand. Oh,
Hard Rock Cafe.
I get it.
I have a warped sense of humor.
Viv says it is a joke. Oh, she's referring to no dynamic disk for this ASUS. Yeah, okay, gotcha. And then Rick says you may need to use disk part to clean the HDD and reformat it to GPT again to use it as a data disk. Entirely possible. And it's going to be interesting to see if we have to do that. Gary says delete the last 3 partitions, then extend the large partition. And that sounds like a good intermediate step. So I think by last 3 partition, he's referring to these 3. But this one right here is not actually, it's already deleted. And this one doesn't have an option for delete. And this one does not have an option for delete.
Nope.
So those, I believe, are partitions that are there because this was a bootable partition. And anytime we have a bootable partition, we don't get just the C drive. There's always these other two or three other partitions. This one's a recovery partition. So if your computer fails to boot, or like if you pull a power plug 3 or 4 times in a row when it's trying to boot, you can get into that Windows recovery. And I'm pretty sure that this partition is involved in that. Haven't actually researched that. And then this one over here, I think, keeps track of which partition on the drive that you want to boot from. So I think this has some bootloader type information. And I know I'm not good on that terminology, but it's those little partitions are always there. So then here's a system reserved partition. So I think that corresponds to this partition. Your SSD has this, what I'm referring to as a bootloader. And so this serves that same purpose. And then this actually is still a bootable partition if you had a UEFI capable BIOS. And then these two over here, this one shows right there, it's recovery partition. So that corresponds to this recovery partition. I'm not even going to try to speculate as to why this larger drive has a smaller recovery partition.
You read my mind.
And then this EFI system partition. So EFI is the last 3 characters of the UEFI. Unified Extensible File Interchange. I think I'm wrong on that, but something along those lines. So this EFI is there, I think, because this is now a UEFI capable partition. As a matter of fact, if we go back and look at the video, I'd be interested to see, before we did that conversion, was this one not here? Maybe it wasn't. Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. Thank you, Gary, in chat. Yes. So this EFI, is that Extensible Firmware Interface? Not totally sure. Chris says, I think Windows Update still uses the recovery partition. I don't know. So we cannot just delete these and extend. If we try to if we right click here and extend this volume, it's going to force a change to dynamic disk. If these partitions out here were unallocated, if they weren't there, then I think we could extend without having to convert to dynamic disk. If we go clean this disk using disk part, then I think that would get us back to that state where we could format the entire drive as GPT without converting to dynamic. I'm kind of liking that path. Let's see, Gary responding to Chris, yes, every month, meaning Windows Update uses the recovery partition. Gary says it gets updated. Dan the man, we can't see Ken's screen. What? Oh gosh, sorry. I don't have the right button pressed. So all of that I just went through, they didn't see. I gave somebody my cell phone number to be able to text me when I missed something like that. I don't think he's in chat today. If there's anyone else interested or willing to volunteer for that capacity, the way to do it is to send me an email. I'll send you my cell phone number and make your number a VIP contact on my phone, so that when you text me, it rings a special ringtone to bring my attention to that when I mess up. Oh, look at that! You have your thumbnail now from Zoom.
Yeah, because we're not on the browser. So
yeah, we're not on the browser. So I dragged that down behind the thumbnail that I'm broadcasting. All right, so I guess I got it. All this stuff that I was talking about here, these partitions, I cannot delete these partitions. It doesn't have an option for that. This partition out here is already unallocated, so that is available to extend into that area. When I come over to this F drive partition and go to extend the volume, it's going to force me to convert to dynamic disk, because I think that's the only way it can jump those two partitions. So right here, the operation you selected will convert the selected basic disk to dynamic disk. If you convert the disk to dynamic, you will not be able to start installed operating systems from any volume on this disk except the current boot volume. Oh, I missed that before. Which means if we were wanting to boot from this, we could boot from it if you had a UEFI BIOS.
right.
So many catches. All right, so I cannot clean this from disk management, can I? Do we have to go to disk part? I don't mind going to disk part. I just want to be sure it cannot be done from here. Scan. I don't think it can be done from here. I know there's other utilities that'll do it from a GUI interface, but again, I'd rather do it from within the operating system. All right, looking back at chat, see if there's anyone making a comment before we go to disk part to clean this thing up. And oh my gosh, I looked at the clock on your computer and thought, oh my gosh, is it 7 o'clock already? No, it's 5 o'clock my time. Jeez. Can't see screens. Gary says we got ya. Jeff, he's referring to, you can see the screen now, I think. Jeff, unified extensible firmware interface. Yes. Gary, I will if you want. I guess he's saying that he will do the cell phone thing with me, where he can text me if I'm missing something. And Gary is asking, Ken, where are you?
Charleston, Illinois.
There you go. So yes, Gary, please send me an email, DougBetts at LiveWindowsTraining.com, and I will send you my cell phone number, and then we'll do a couple test operations so I can get you set up as a VIP on my phone. All right, so let's go disk part and get this show progressing. And we can do that from CMD. Probably has to be done as administrator, but I don't know that for certain. And then disk part, enter, whoops, spell it right, DISK-PRT. I thought computers were smart, it should know what I meant to type.
That's the Russian version.
Yeah, then list space disk, enter. Now this is, I guess, because there could be anybody watching this video afterwards or even in chat. This is a hazardous area. You must be careful of what you're doing here and be sure you know what you're doing. People have cried over this. So then here we see that it's an asterisk in this column showing that disk 1 is a GPT. Disk 0 does not have an asterisk, so this is the place where we confirm that it is MBR. Neither of these places show us MBR versus GPT in a GUI environment, but I'm going to take a little detour here because I just want to know. So Windows key R, MS info 32. I think this tells us in here. Expand the component section, expand the storage section, go to disks, fixed hard disk, partition disk. Okay, so this up here is showing this is your disk 1, your 3 terabyte, and we know it to be GPT. Nothing in here tells us it's GPT. And then here's your SSD. And nothing in here shows us it's MBR. Boy, it seems like this would be a really good place to be providing that information.
Yep, I agree.
Because the other places we've seen today to do it, it's just by deduction that we determine how they're configured. Doesn't have an asterisk, therefore it's MBR. Doesn't say convert to GPT, therefore it's MBR. Here, BIOS mode legacy. So see, this would be a place where a person could be tempted to think that your BIOS can be changed to UEFI mode, but we know that your BIOS cannot be. So it's just informing us here that BIOS mode is legacy. It's not implying that it can be changed. Yeah, nothing in there. Okay, so then we do select 1.
Don't you have to put disk 1?
Yes, I was just testing you.
Am I going to get a "you've done good" grasshopper one of these days?
Yeah, you are. You are. You done good, grasshopper. Select disk 1. Disk 1 is now the selected disk. Let's see. If you want, Gary says yes, disc part. Gary, hey, Ken, I already did that. Lance, is it 2 a.m.? Lance, wow. Where are you at, Lance? We now
Really?
need
Where
to
is he
know.
at?
And Gary says, or email. He must be referring to the phone number. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to alert me to something I'm missing by email. Well, yes, you can. Because if an email comes through to my phone and I've got you set as a VIP, I think I can set a ringtone to that. So, yeah, we could try that. And then Feral Sparky says, good afternoon, Doug. Hello, Feral Sparky. Glad to have you with us. All right, so we've got disk part 1 listed. Now let's look at what was list vol, isn't it? Yeah. 8 volumes.
Wow.
Ooh, D, C, E, F. Oh, this is showing all the volumes, not just this.
Oh, that's showing. Right, because I see the third one, volume number 2 is the solid state drive. And
Yeah,
it's a C drive.
the C drive. All right. All right. I'm going to do select disk 1 again, just to be sure, active there. And then clean. Am I remembering that right?
I believe so, yes.
Just clean. Now I'm going to try space /? The arguments specified for this command are not valid. For more information, command type help clean. And this is part of me being careful. I'm not in here often enough to trust myself. Help clean removes any and all partition or volume formatting from the disk with focus. So the focus is on 1. And syntax clean. And then we could put the word all. Specifies that each and every byte sector on the disk is set to 0, which completely deletes all data contained on the disk. So that would be a secure wipe, essentially.
Right.
I don't see that we need to do that. That certainly will take longer to do. On master boot record, MBR disks, only the MBR partitioning information and hidden sector information are overwritten. Well, this is not an MBR disk, so that's irrelevant to us. On GUI partition table, GUID, to pronounce that, on GUID partition table, GPT disk, so that's what GUID is the G, P is partition, T is table, so GPT disks. The GPT partitioning information, including the protective MBR, is overwritten. Oh, that's interesting. So a GPT partition has something called a protective MBR. I don't know what that's about. If the all parameter is not used, the first 1 megabyte and the last 1 megabyte of the disk are zeroed. This erases any disk formatting that had previously applied to the disk. So that's telling us that the formatting information for the disk is contained within the first 1 megabyte and the last 1 megabyte of the disk. The disk state after cleaning the disk is uninitialized. Okay, I'm good with this.
I agree.
Looking at chat. Sure. After Viv says it should be on the pull down menu if you mean format. No, this wouldn't be format because that's not going to clean all the partitions off the disk. That would be for reformatting a partition. Lance, computer management, right click on disk, select properties, select volumes, shows MBR GPT. Okay, I'm going to go take a look at that before we complete this. Farrell says, longtime Carrie viewer, now newcomer to your channel. Thank you, Farrell. Glad to see you. Glad to have another Carrie fan here. I am still a Carrie fan and supporter. And Mike Smith as well. And then Lance, Cape Town, South Africa is where Lance is from. Islander Jer says, I usually use clean only. Well, he's using clean in parentheses, so he's just saying he usually uses clean. Well, that's what we're about to do. Lance, disk part clean takes the disk to new state, i.e. not initialized. Agreed. Islander Jer, I got an answer to the Windows 10 machine that was taking 5 minutes to load into Windows. If anyone remembers my conundrum, I think that's probably refers to chat that he did on some other video. It seems to me I recall that he was working with a computer that was taking a long time to boot. I might be wrong about that. So anyway, computer management, right-click on disk. Let's go look at that. Right-click here, computer management, and he's saying right-click on disk properties. Oh, he's saying computer management. We could have gone straight to disk management. You know what? It seems like we did go into here earlier today, and we saw that. And then it was volumes. Yeah. Yes, we did see that earlier today.
Yep, because we determined it was GPT.
Yep, I forgot that. So my earlier statement about the only way was by deduction, that's not true. This is the one place where it does tell us straight up, I am GPT, hear me proud. Or hear me roar, however that goes. All right, here we go. Clean, enter. And I don't think this takes very long since we didn't use the all parameter. Oh, I'm going to try a button here. Let me see. I did this. You're not going to see this, Ken, unless you're watching the video.
I am.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
still have it on my tablet.
So I got a button here that I'm going to click. See if this works. Boom. Just as a transition to bring us up bigger on the screen. And then go back down. All right, then looks like a few more things in chat. Yeah, Islander Jer, if anyone remembers my conundrum. Chris says it got cold in Georgia. Islander Jer, I believe my friend has an external backup drive, which he's somehow selected as the boot device. It was totally full. I need to correct the boot device, and it should be speedy again. That sounds believable.
I think, okay, I think I answered my own question. All my icons disappeared. Makes sense because everything was pointed to that F drive. And if there's nothing on that F drive.
Oh, you had done something weird.
Yeah, I had connected them all, but that's fine. I can reconnect them.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So we cleaned it. So
yeah. You pointed somehow your entire desktop to read from the F drive.
right.
We should have dealt with that. That was you put that into an email to me, and I just didn't quite register what you'd done. So all of your desktop icons were pulling from your profile from the F drive.
Right. That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, it
all
makes
right.
sense. When it first happened, I'm like, now where did they go? And I thought, well, maybe that was what you were doing. Then I realized everything
Yeah.
was pointed to come from there. If that's empty in a sense, which it is now,
Yeah.
there's nothing for it. It's reading what it sees, which is nothing.
All right. So I'm deducing that you understand in your mind how to recover those from your backup drive, because those are all copied to your backup.
I honestly don't know how to get them back off the back. That was the whole,
all right, we'll go look at that. We'll go look at that.
Well, can we double check to see if we see all 3 terabyte?
Yeah. So we're going to exit from disk part here. Just type the word exit and press enter, and then exit from the DOS command. And let me just catch up with chat here
Sure,
for a
go
moment. Let's see. Islander Jer, no, Chris Garrett. He's talking to Islander Jer about the issue that he's having. Yes, Islander Jer, did all the desktop icons just disappear? Yes, they did, and we just explained why. Islander Jer says, I've asked him to try that and let me know. That has to do with his friend's slow booting computer. If they were shortcuts, yeah. Scrub back in the stream and note what everything was. I don't think we actually need to do that, and I do have the DVR enabled. And for those of you who saw my previous issues on that, when I start the live stream, it always disables the DVR. I have to go click to enable it after starting the live stream, which is stupid. Then Wintermute should be able to copy desktop folder in the backup to his current profile. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Islander Jer, list disk in disk part again. Blackwatch, all shortcuts now point to the Twilight Zone, LOL, yes. Islander Jer, capacity shown. I think that's why he's wanting to see disk part. I think we could see that in disk management, but we'll go ahead and do that too, just because I like seeing all 6 different ways of doing anything. It's all about education. So let's see, disk part, enter.
Oh yeah, it's going to show it there.
List disk, yeah.
No.
List vol. Yes, because that's the same thing we saw before, except that it doesn't have an asterisk for GPT because it's clean.
Right.
And then volumes, it doesn't show up in volumes because, again, it's clean. It is not a current partition.
Right.
So that didn't really show us capacity shown, I don't think. GW's talking to Blackwatch. Islander, do it your way. I'm not the driver. Actually, Islander Jer in the chat on my channel is very much the driver until I just decide I want to go ahead and get her done. And that is part of the name of the channel, Live Windows Training. I would really like it if I become a resource for technicians and computer enthusiasts to become to learn more, and myself to learn more. And when people from chat make suggestions that I wouldn't have thought of, I'll go down that road and either refresh myself on something or learn something. Initialize disk. Wait a minute.
It's saying disk 1.
Yeah, I want to check on something. I might make a fool of myself here, but I'm also not averse to making myself a fool, look a fool. Hey Siri, how do you spell initialize?
Initialize. I-N-I-T-I-A-L-I-Z-E.
I thought so.
Yep, that's all of it shows up like that.
Yeah, misspelled initialize. What's up? And there. Okay, so as soon as we come into disk management, it recognizes that there's a disk in there that's not initialized. So this window just popped up. I didn't do anything to make this window pop up.
Nope.
We can initialize it as GPT or MBR. The GPT partition style is not recognized by all previous versions of Windows. Now, I guess you're not going to go back to Windows 3.1?
No.
I don't know how far back that goes. Windows 95 maybe doesn't do it. I think Windows 7 did. Not sure. So, clicking OK. And, okay, I was thinking this might happen in chat about that spelling. Let's see, Islander Jer 2794, that's the capacity. But I think we saw that full capacity on that drive prior. And Islander Jarrett, a British programmer, did this bit. And Wintermute, British versus American. So I was suspecting that spelling for initialize might be British. And Chris says it's spelled wrong, LOL. Lance, depends if you speak English, US or UK. And Chris, hard for me to see. Lance says English UK, use a S, not a Z. Chris, I've seen BIOS misspelled once. Frankie, the drive has to be initialized in this management. Yeah, Gary says, I'm quite impressed. Knowledge and shared skills. Well, thank you, Gary. Blackwatch, not ZZ. Just kidding. I think that's again referring to the spelling. Okay, so here we got an unallocated disk. We go new simple volume. I did a right click and then new simple volume. And then welcome to the new simple volume wizard, showing us the full size, and then next. And we already know that it's GPT. We don't expect to be getting that choice. Assign the following drive letter. What drive letter do you want for it?
F is good.
F, you're accustomed to that.
Yep.
Wow. As a matter of fact, those icons on your desktop would have been pointing to your profile folder on the F drive. Wouldn't it be sweet if we can just copy that profile folder back to the F drive and they all just show up?
It would be. Yes, it would be.
Yeah, maybe.
Save me a lot of work.
We're in unexplored territory, which also some people will advise not doing things that you're not sure of as a technician, but as long as I know we got backups.
I was going to say, as long as you got a backup,
yeah.
What harm is there?
So mount in the following NTFS folder, we don't need that. Do not assign a drive letter, we don't need that. So clicking next. And then I'm seeing some things happen in chat, so I'm going to look at that. Chris says, I've seen a BIOS that misspelled a word. Okay, Viv. I'm on the train at last. I'm going to have to watch this again to read all the chat. So again, she's on the train. Chris, that they might copy back. Okay, he's saying that might work. Gary, or put them to the user's desktop folder. I'm hoping well, actually the reason for not doing that is this SSD is a pretty small SSD.
Right.
And SSDs definitely like a lot of elbow room, a lot of free space. So you're already on the path of having your SSD look to the F drive for stuff. And I kind of like the idea of you really being Scrooge on space utilization on your SSD to keep that free space there. Now, volume label, do you want to put a name to this?
No. Oh, yeah, go ahead and call it
Data?
No, that's fine. We're good.
All right. And it can be changed later. So then perform a quick format is fine. Click next. Click finish. And this should take seconds. There it is, formatting, new volume, formatting, healthy, and then the F drive has popped up in a window showing us there's no content there. Click OK. Close this window. Come back and look here. So we have that nearly 3 terabytes, healthy basic data partition. It's a basic disk. If we right click here, we see convert to dynamic, which tells us it is not dynamic. So we were being forced to go to dynamic because of those little partitions that were interfering. I think it's reasonable to deduce that at this point.
Agree.
Okay, so let's go ahead and reconnect your backup drive and see what we can do about restoring your icons, unless there's something else we need first. I don't think so.
Figure out what I've done with it.
And you know what? While you connect that, I'm actually going to get up and walk away. I need to get another water bottle, and I'm I'm disconnecting from audio. So you're on your own.
Well, chat, I'll leave that sit where it's at, and while he's grabbing the water, I'm going to go grab a water as well. I'm diabetic, so I drink an awful lot of water. In fact, yesterday, a little cute, humorous story is when the technician asked me, "Do you drink a lot of water?" I said, "I drink 100 gallons of water a day." And she literally went, "Really?" I said, "No, ma'am, I drink not 100 gallons of water a day. I drink about 10 bottles of water a day." So she thought that was funny. So I'm going to run and grab me one real quick. I had to tell a real quick funny story about my technician appointment yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you when I get back.
All right. So let's see, anything else in chat? Looking to 522. That is UK English. We use Z a lot. American English is phonetic from Viv. Chris says he drinks a lot of sweet tea. I've been drinking a lemon spice tea lately. It kind of gives a little bit of a fire mouth. That's hot tea.
I was telling the chat room while you were gone that at my doctor's appointment yesterday, the technician, because I'm diabetic, she said, "Do you drink a lot of water?" And I said, "Yes, I drink 100 gallons a day." And she literally went like that.
Yeah.
She said, "Are you serious?" I said, "No, ma'am, I drink about 8 to 10 bottles of water a day." But
okay.
No sense of humor.
Yeah, all right. So I got a story too. I was on a phone call yesterday morning, I think it was, for a what do they call it? Long-term care insurance, and they do this interview with you to see how you're doing, and she want to test. There's a thing to test my memory. So she gives me 10 words, wants me to repeat each word and then use it in a sentence. And she tells me at the beginning of this that she's going to have me do this twice. And then later in the interview, she wants me to repeat all 10 of those words and not write them down, right? So we go through this once. I repeat the word and use it in a sentence. So we get through 10 words. By the time we're getting the 5th word, I'm realizing, hey, this is going to be harder than I thought. And then we go through it a second time. Then we continue the interview, and she then says, "Earlier in the interview, I gave you 10 words, and I want you to repeat them to me now, and promise me that you didn't write them down." And, no, I didn't write them down. I got to about the 4th word, and I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make this. I'm not going to get through. And I was counting on my fingers, and I did get through. So I was surprised. But the joke here, the story that I'm telling, is that during the rest of that interview, there's a place where she asked me when I last took a particular medication. There's a medication that I take when I get a migraine headache. And I told her it was for April 10th, I think is what I said. And she repeated it back March 5th. So after giving me this memory test, she could remember that date. I said April 10th. She repeated back March 5th. So I said, no, not right. And I repeated it to her again. It took a couple times. Go, wow. I was almost wanting to ask her, can you pass this memory test?
Yeah, really?
All right. Then let's get here. Location not available. So here it's looking, this is good news. It's looking to F users, KS2 desktop, to find something that it's looking for. That's good news, because that means if we copy them back there that they might just pop in. If the location is on this PC, make sure that the device on drive is connected or the disk is inserted, then try again. If the location is on a network, make sure you're connected to the network or internet, then try again. If the location still can't be found, it might have been moved or deleted. So I think that must have popped up when you plugged that drive in.
I did. It did.
All right. So I'm not quite sure why that triggered that. We can close this down. So here's the J drive, and then that backup was in this HDDB. We're going to drill down to find this folder structure. Here it is, and then users. And then this was the folder that message was asking for as a subfolder of users. Okay, so I'm going to Windows key E to bring up another Windows menu. Oh, right away it comes up with this. F users. So I'm gonna manually create F users. Oh, it's there. Wait, what? How is that there? Ooh, interesting. It looks like it created this folder path just because Windows was trying to find something there. We haven't copied anything to that location.
No, if you click on that, I wonder if the pictures will show up.
Well, this looks like this is a file folder. It's just giving us the basic path structure, which, okay, that would be because your user profile is trying to find the content there, is not finding it, but in looking for it, that actually created those folders. That's intriguing. Okay, so we are currently at your profile folder location. So now let's go into your profile, and then part of me wants to just copy all of this over. But that's a little bit overkill, because I think what we need is desktop and pictures. And clearly we can bring others over if we want to later. All right, so now by default, when I drag from one drive to another, it's going to be a copy operation. If I was dragging from one folder to another on the same drive, then it would default to a move operation. If I hold down the shift key now, it's going to become a move operation. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to leave it as a copy operation. If this drag operation defaulted to move and I actually wanted to copy, then I would hold down the control key to force it to do a copy. So here, now this operation is going to try to overwrite that pictures folder. We'll probably get a prompt asking if we want to allow that. So here I'm letting go of the mouse button. 19,836 items. And click on more details just because we live that way. And it thinks it's going to take about an hour. Of course, computers are notoriously horrible at predicting time. It could be more, it could be less. And that time's probably going to start changing on us. So I'm going to look back at chat. Going up, my last note was 5:22. Looks like I've missed a lot. Scrolling up to 5:22. American English, Sweet Tea. Look at the shortcut from Gary. Oh, I see them popping in there in the background.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
That's good.
Let's move this around a little bit.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
Look at that.
Look at that. Oh,
Isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet?
Yeah. Now I have two Google calendars. That's fine. I'll fix
Oh,
that.
yeah, because anything that was recreated by default, it would now be duplicated. So let's see, going back, Blackwater says 100 gallons of water, you would be drunk true
Yeah, he
story.
would. He did.
Yeah, I think that would probably be dead. I think there's documented accounts of people dying from drinking too much water. Gary says, hey Chris, what part of the South are you from? It's to Chris. Viv, Australia was settled by the British, and we are still not independent, I suspect. Chris Garrett, it has to be Southern style sweet tea. I do not like all that other kind. Maybe a hard sweet tea might be nice. Okay, that's alcoholic. And he's telling Gary that he's in Georgia. And Gary to Chris, I was born on vacation and had grandparents in Kentucky, spent a lot of time there. Blackwatch, Doug, I had a lady give me that test at the end. She forgot to ask me. I reminded her that he's saying that she forgot to ask him to repeat the words. Yeah, Gary corrected a spelling, I think. And then Lance to Viv. Don't you mean independent, like a few countries in the Commonwealth? I think she did mean that. Blackwatch says the problem with the wealth is it's no longer common. To Lance, okay. To Blackwatch asking if Carrie's on tonight. Ed, nope now. Drinking water is better than drinking Coke, like Carrie and some others do. I drink 1 Pepsi a day. And I don't like Coke specifically. I have a sister-in-law that drinks Diet Coke like crazy. Islander says magic. I guess he's referring to the icons coming back. Catherine Hauserman's here. Hello. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you. Gary says some of the shortcuts may point to another drive. I doubt it because we use the same drive letter that they were previously pointing to, but let me check on that. Catherine says, please like the video, my champion. Catherine does the asking for me. Thank you so much. And Islander saying hello to Catherine. Blackwatch, it's a crapshoot. Only guarantee it's Fridays 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight. Oh, he's referring to whether Carrie's going to be on. Yeah, the only time slot that he said is going to be stable is Fridays at 1 p.m. Arizona time. Catherine says hello to Islander. Rick Hubbard, hi to Catherine. Catherine, I was conceived on a Greece vacation my parents had. Gary, you just cut out, Doug. I guess, are you saying the stream cut out? Or let's see, stream still running. DVR still running. Stream health says stream is healthy. So does anyone else see video or audio problems or lags? Catherine says hi to Rick Hubbard. Gary says to Catherine, how are you doing tonight? Catherine saying hello back to me. Catherine, she's very well. And says, I hope you are too. So that brings me up to 5:38 p.m. Okay, 13% complete, about 35 minutes to go. And as it finds, if the rest of the files that it's trying to copy are highly compressible, then that's going to shorten the amount of time it takes. If it finds files that are very dense and not compressible, then they'll take longer because it can achieve a compression as it's copying files across. And that's really why the computers are so totally inept at estimating how much time a particular process is going to take. Showing us 33 megabytes per second. And then also this speed, I think that also applies there, meaning when the speed numbers go up, that means it found some highly compressible files. When the speed numbers goes down, it found some very dense files. And I got to say, all that explanation is by reason of deduction. I have not researched it. I try to make that disclaimer every time I come up with something that I think is true. Okay, so while that's going, we should be able to go do a little experimenting with stuff. Can I ask you to go click around into folders and see if they work? I'm asking you to do that so that I don't pull up something that's considered private or personal.
That's fine. I think I saw one that might have been done. Well, you know what? Let's see. This one might be done. Let's see if this works. Yes and no, maybe not.
Well, it could be slow because the computer's very busy right now.
All right. Is this alphabetical maybe?
We can.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't have it yet because that's my grandbaby's pictures.
Yeah, it could be that some shortcuts are there where the files are not there yet.
Right. I was thinking maybe Google Chrome the calendar might be there. And see, there's the calendar from the solid state drive, and I only know that because I've got my latest blood sugars in there, so that's good. Because I'll bet you if I click on this one, that'll prove me wrong and brings it up. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Because basically that's just a URL address. That data is not stored on your hard drive.
Okay. Well, this probably won't work. Again, make a liar out of me. Yeah, see that?
Oh, look at that.
That's good. But because my cameras are in use, it's not going to show anything. My camera 2 might work though. Yeah, see, there's my camera 2.
All right.
So that's good. So yeah, that's coming off from the backup back to the F drive and working just fine.
Good.
So about 30 minutes. Doug, I hate to do this. I don't have any qualms whatsoever about you staying connected. If you want to watch what happens, which I'm sure you
No. I think this is a good point to just go ahead and shut us down because that needs to run for a while.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to have a little time to evaluate how things are after this is done.
Yeah, I'll shoot you an email in the morning. I gotta go get dinner. I'm buying dinner tonight, so not cooking.
All right.
So yeah, this is looking great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you sign off, and I'm gonna finish up with chat a little bit because there's been some more messages that have come in. I've got you on full screen right now. If you just say your goodbyes to chat.
Thanks for tuning in and suggesting and helping out. Blackwatch, we're still working on setting that grilling up. It'll be a barbecue.
All right.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate it.
Very good. Go ahead and click yourself out of the Zoom session then.
Yeah, if I can figure out how to do that, that would be good.
All right. Well, I'm gonna shut your audio off and go ahead and talk to chat.
All right.
So you're
Take
on your
care.
own.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Good night,
Thank
chat.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so his audio stream is on mute. I'm going back to 538 in chat. And then we're going to shut this down for the night. No, Catherine, no, it's all fine. And then Blackwatch, how come you always got to go on vacation? I told you Mom liked you best. Islander Chair, more smaller files generally take longer than fewer larger files. Yeah, certainly that's part of it too. Catherine, so far it looks regular. Islander Chair, how's the backup drive interfaced? It is a USB connection, I think. No, he has it in some kind of a drive bay, which would be a USB connection. Not on the network. And Frankie, video, audio, good. Blackwatch, how come you always got to go on vacation? I told you Mom liked you best. To Catherine. And Tony Wallow, good night all. Catherine, better watch it. Winter mute bike in. Blackwatch, see you, Ken, Catherine. I have not been on vacation since 2018. It's been longer for me, and I don't, but that's okay. I've had too many bad vacations. I have vacations right here in my home. I just take hours or days off. Rick, good night all, and thanks to Doug and Ken. Thank you everybody for being with us. Appreciate you all. And let's see, tomorrow I have a session with Rick? You're in chat, aren't you, Rick? Is Rick still here? Isn't it with Rick tomorrow? Participants. Chat. Yeah, Rick Hubbard. No, it's not Rick. Who is it? That's not Rick. Who's the session with tomorrow? I need to give you some information about that session tomorrow. It's earlier in the day. So, Viv, I don't think you're going to like that. And it is a Windows 10 upgrade failure that's still failing to upgrade to 20H2. And, oh, whoops, I'm still connected to his computer. That's why that didn't click what I wanted it to. So in that, and bring up my email so I can tell you what that is for those of you who want to make plans for it. It's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific time, and that's with Ken Stout. No, this was Ken Stout. Jeez, silly me. Oh, Luis Fernandez. Luis Fernandez, I got a video with him back in the past where his computer wouldn't upgrade to 20H2. So we're going to take another run of that tomorrow. I have some very specific methods to do that I want to go straight into those methods. So that is, let me be sure I'm saying the time right. Yeah, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And he is in Puerto Rico. I'm trying to pronounce it right. I know I really botched that. Okay, so stay at home vacation. Thanks for the stream. Wife was in Florida. Me too, from Catherine. About the vacations, probably. Me, yes, but not chat with me tomorrow. Right. Islander, if I know I have some time free coming up, I'll drop you an email about a Windows 8 machine which doesn't want to update. Not sure it's worth the time. Yes, it's worth the time. Yes, it's worth the time because it's all experiencing, learning, exploring, and even if we're eventually unsuccessful, we still get to do a lot of things in making the attempt. So yes, bring it on. All right, that's all. Thank you again for being here. I'll catch you later. Have a great day. Goodbye.